Stores are finally reopening. Let's talk about what it will do for silver and gold. Please note that the opinions expressed in this video are my own. I am not a financial expert nor a financial advisor. You should always do your own research before making any financial decisions. I bet you're wondering why there were no videos on Saturday. Friday I had to work all day in the blazing sun, and I suffered a minor heat stroke. So when I got home Friday night, my plan was to record the video for Saturday morning, but I was completely drained of all energy. I couldn't do anything at all. So I went to bed rather early. And the next day on Saturday, I thought maybe I would be able to post the video late and do it in the morning. But I ended up going back to sleep and staying in bed pretty much all day. And when I finally woke up in the afternoon, I had no energy at all. Was completely drained. So basically I just decided to postpone it for Monday. So now it's Sunday night and I'm recording this close to midnight. So yes, I don't know how it is where you live, but here in Montreal the stores are finally reopening tomorrow. So I'm expecting this will make a big change in the supply and the demand for precious metals. So while I'm talking about that, I'll just put in some of the purchases I made in the last 2 weeks, and we'll look at them together. Quite a few things here. So despite the fact all the local coin shops were closed for the last probably over 2 months now, they closed, I believe, in early March, if memory serves, and now we're almost at the end of May. We're in the last week of May. So despite the fact that all of the stores are closed, some of the stores were taking appointments. So you could call and say, well, I want to purchase something. What do you have? And then make an appointment to go purchase it directly. So I was able to make, let me think, locally, I would say I made 4 purchases. So at first it was mostly gold, but lately no one is gold anymore, like everything is sold out. So the last 2 purchases I made were silver only. So these are the items for the last 2 weeks, basically. I was able to pick that up at a high premium, but still at a low price compared to the rest of the market. So here in Canada right now, the spot price is at $24, which is where it was before the crash. So we're at the exact same level. When you go to purchase on online dealers, generic silver is selling for about $30, and the premium coins like the Maple Leafs and American Silver Eagles and things like that are usually selling for about $33 to $34. So in order to make the conversion in American money, you would have to deduct 40% roughly. I will write on the screen what it is. I don't want to make the math in my head right now. The prices are pretty high compared to before the crash. Before the crash, I was able to purchase, like generic silver was selling for about $2 over spot, so I was purchasing at around 26. And the premium stuff was selling around 27 to 28, so about $4 above spot. So right now we're looking at like $6 over spot for generic, which would be about 3 times higher in terms of premiums. And for the premium stuff, let's see, 33, so minus 24, so that's $7. So a little bit over twice what it was before in terms of premiums. All of these purchases here, basically the dealer said, well, I don't have any good items in stock. What I have is like milk spotted coins and things like that. So I said, well, it doesn't matter at all for me. I mean, I'm buying it for the weight of silver. So even if they're not perfect, if you can make me a good deal, I'll be really happy to take them off of your hand. The first time I went was 2 weeks ago, and the price was $28 for the Maple Leafs and the Philharmonics and the Sunshine Minting. I'm going to show you the coins in a second. And he was selling as Canadian 80% silver, the circulation coins from before 1967, at a little bit over 26, I believe it was 26.50 or something like that per ounce of silver. So I took pretty much everything I could and loaded up on all of it. So let me show you those while we talk about what are my views on the reopening of the stores. So the first thing is what happened to the market during the crash. So all of the mines, or pretty much all of the mines, closed. The mints closed as well, and the distributors were either closed or out of stock, and the most of the local coin shops were closed, and many of them are out of stock as well. And in terms of premiums, it went, well, I'm going to talk in American money here, so it's easier for everyone. But so the premium went up from 2 to 3 US dollars to 10 to 12 US dollars, which is pretty much 4 to 5 times higher. They have come down a little bit now because what happened is, as the spot price was getting back to normal, the premiums were staying pretty much the same. So in your area, it might have already happened, or it might be happening today, or it might be happening soon. But stores are starting to reopen finally, and we can expect the market to get back up to speed. I don't know the current situation with the mines, but hopefully they should be reopening shortly as well. The mints have already started producing again in a limited way for about 3 weeks, I would say. So I'm expecting them to ramp up production if metal is available. I know that the COMEX orders, they had a lot of trouble filling them. They were purchasing from mints to fulfill their orders, so that's not a good sign. But as I've always assumed, the COMEX doesn't have the metal that it's selling. It's just like a house of cards. So in the future, this might make a big impact on the price of either silver or gold, depending where they fail to deliver when the orders come due. So distributors should start to have stock again. As things open back up, hopefully they're going to get the premiums under control, and we're going to see prices return to normal within a reasonable amount of time. And finally, because the stores are reopening, here is what I think that is going to happen. So the first thing, with more competition, stores will have to be more competitive and lower their prices. The other aspect is that people were unable to sell because everything was closed. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are starting to experience financial difficulties now after 2 months of being in confinement. So if a lot of people are selling, this would put a lot of pressure on the prices to go down. And this is the perfect example why in my budgeting videos, I always recommend for people to have 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside in cash so that they can weather any major difficulty like we are experiencing right now. But I know that this is not what most people do. I believe the average in the US is most people have less than $400 put aside in savings. So that's not even a week in terms of expenses for most people. And even with the government help, it probably doesn't cover all of the expenses for a lot of people. So I am expecting a lot of people to be selling silver and gold and other precious metals when the stores open back up. And this is also the perfect example of why you should never stack on credit. I know some people do it. I never understood it. Like, why would you want to pay interest on your stacking? The idea of stacking is to save money, not to spend more. But I know that a lot of people are doing. So unfortunately, I'm guessing that there's a lot of silver that's going to come back on the market because of it. The other thing is that the stores have not been doing any serious business for about 2 months now, and they will be wanting to sell. So they might be willing to negotiate more than normal, especially that they, with the super high premiums right now, they have more headroom to play with the prices. So if you go to a store and you think the price is very high, I would try to negotiate and see if you can get a better deal. And also don't hesitate to call many stores and to use the prices you're getting from one store to say to the other one, well, I can get it cheaper, and see if they can match it or go even lower in order to get the sale from you. So just a quick shout out that I want to do. Like every Sunday now, I spend the day mostly in the live chats. There are 2 streams that I really like to watch on Sundays. So the first one is at noon New York time, so that's Eastern time. And that show is on the Silver Torch 66 channel. His show lasts quite a long time. On average, I would say it's 3 to 4 hours long, so you can pretty much spend the afternoon with him. People are really cool in the chat there. I really like the interaction, and he's doing basically talk with people and also some auctioning and some giveaways. So if you're into any of those three things, I would strongly suggest you give it a try. The other one is Lady Bullion. I've already talked about her on my channel because I really love the show that she does on Sunday at 4 p.m. Again, that's Eastern Time. Her and Abibi are a great team. I mean, it's really dynamic, a lot of interaction there, and it's a lot of fun as well. Their show is mostly giveaways. There is a little bit of talk about what people are saying in the chat, and they are interacting with the hosts, but it's very different from what Silver Torch 66 is doing. So both shows are great, and I think a lot of you guys would really love to be part of it and participate in the giveaways and participate in the chat and everything. So I invite you to come join us next Sunday if you're available. Just make sure you're subscribed to both of their channels so that you get the notification when the shows are going up. So during the downtime, did you put fiat currencies aside to make purchases when the stores were going to open back up, or did you manage to purchase during the crisis? Did you have either a local coin shop that was open, or were you able to place online orders at a reasonable price, maybe? But I hope that you planned for it because right now is probably a good time to buy in terms of, the stores are going to be hungry, they're going to be willing to sell, and people are probably going to be willing to sell as well to the coin shops, so there should be availability pretty soon. And afterwards, it's going to take a little bit of time for the normal market to set back up, where the mints are sending metal to the refiners and to the mints, and that those products get in the hands of distributors and back to the coin shops. I don't know how long that will take to go back to normal, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be instant. So for a little while, I'm sure we're going to expect to see some scarcity in terms of metal available, and also prices that are probably not going to go back to normal for quite a while. Also, I expect the spot price to keep rising. I don't know if I'm right on that. My judgment is based on history. So if you look at the previous crisis, that's pretty much what's happening. So after the crisis, the price go up for about a year or two. So I'm expecting the same thing to happen this time around, maybe even higher, because we never had a crash like this in history before. Like the unemployment is sky high right now, and it's going to keep rising. In theory, that's when precious metal take a lot of value. Well, it's not really that precious metal take a lot of value, but that the dollar loses a lot of value, and that the precious metal are keeping their value, so hence the price is going up. So my advice, obviously I'm not a financial advisor, and that's what I'm going to do, and I want to give you those suggestions so that you may make your own plan to do it. But my advice would be not to buy anything with super high premiums right now, and maybe seek items that have very low premium. For example, in the US you have 40% silver, which is normally not very popular, and the premiums are usually inexistent. You can purchase it at a spot price. So I'm guessing this is probably still the case. You can probably find it for a lot cheaper than you would for 90% silver or for bullions. So that would be a good plan if you can't find any reasonable premium anywhere else. And if you prefer to purchase pure silver or pure gold, maybe try to avoid the more numismatic stuff and stick to the bullion type so that you don't have to pay crazy high premiums, because the premiums did go up on all of the products. So even before the crash, if you were purchasing semi-numismatic or numismatic coins, of course the premiums were much higher than the normal ones for bullions. But right now those have tripled as well. So you're gonna be paying that extra 3 times over, which is going to be pretty much impossible to get back when you want to sell the silver. So unless it's really something that you want to collect and you have no intention of selling it and the price doesn't matter to you, those would be the items I would be avoiding right now. Also, if you have not done so yet, branching out into other precious metals might be a good idea in order to diversify your stack. For example, gold always has a lower premium and it retains its value much better than silver. It's less speculative, so it doesn't tend to explode in price like silver can do. But in terms of overall performance, gold has outperformed pretty much everything for decades. The other thing I think is undervalued is platinum. This is only my opinion. I know some people think platinum is doomed or will never go high, but I can't see platinum staying under the price of gold forever. I mean, it used to be selling for twice the price of gold, and now it's selling for half of the price of gold. So in my view, it's really undervalued right now. So it is my plan to purchase some. The only thing is it's very, very hard to find around here. So I'm really, really hoping that some of the stores that are going to open back up are going to have some, so that I can get my hands on it. Otherwise, the online dealers are selling it at like 40% premium, which I would never pay. So if I can find it at a reasonable premium, like there is one site that I've been keeping an eye on since the crash started, and their stores are closed, but the premiums are really low there. So I just hope that they're not going to jack up the premiums when they open back up. But right now, what their website is showing is reasonable premiums on platinum. So if they have some and they do honor the prices that are listed, I'm very likely going to go buy some right there. Now, as for the other two precious metals, palladium and rhodium, palladium is selling for less than it was before the crash, so the price is low right now. It is very expensive. You would have to have a lot of money available to purchase it. It's more expensive than gold. And the same thing with rhodium. It's selling for very, very low prices compared to before the crash. But again, you're looking at over twice the price of gold. You need to have a large amount of currency available to purchase it. But I'm thinking that at that price, it's a very good value. So if I had the money, I definitely would buy some. But unfortunately, I pretty much invested all of the money I had into gold. So I have nothing left for rhodium, and it's more speculative. So again, it would have to be a much smaller portion of your stack if you want to be careful with it. But if you already own, like I know a few stackers have a ton of gold, so having a little bit of rhodium might be a good idea for them. If you're only into silver, then maybe rhodium would not be the best thing. I would personally start with gold and maybe go into platinum, but palladium and rhodium I think would be something that would be left for the far future when the stack is much, much bigger, and they would represent maybe only 5% of your holding. So I hope you enjoyed the content that I'm putting for you guys. Thanks to the help of Lady Bullion, I was able to get over 600 subscribers last week. So we're well on our way to 1,000. The 1,000 mark is really, really important for YouTubers because that's when we can start to get monetized for our work. So until we have 1,000 subscribers, YouTube doesn't pay anything. So each video takes roughly 4 hours to make. So if you look at all of the work, like for example, right now I think this is the 34th or 35th video I've put out. So you can imagine the amount of work, and no money is coming in for that work. Obviously, I'm doing this because I love the hobby and I love the community, but being able to get a little bit of money back for the work being done would be appreciated. So the 1,000 mark is super important for everyone doing this. Before you go, I have a video recommendation for you. I posted this video a while ago, but I think it's really useful right now. So this is the video on how to buy silver at spot price. Some of the suggestions I made might not work right now because dealers have changed their pricing plan and all of that, but you might still be able to find some silver at spot if you look at the different sites using the tools I'm suggesting in the video. So I would definitely give it a try, but I would suggest that you do business with your local coin shop first, because this is probably a super rough time for them, and giving them the business will very likely help them stay in business. You don't want your local coin shops to go out of business These are the most important in terms of building relationships and having a place to sell when you're ready to sell your coins and your bars. So supporting them right now would be important. But of course, if you can get a deal as well at the same time to get silver as spot, or to be able to find the low prices so that you can negotiate with your local coin shops, that video might be able to give you a few good ideas. And if this video was useful to you, please share with your friends. You never know, you might motivate them to start stacking too. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.